Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Dusting Off, Season 2. Dusting Off Warlord Saga of the Storm, featuring Laurena Kennet, an elf bard. I covered, I know I've covered a crap ton of bards, at least I think I have. I did Princess, I did Railer, I may have done other ones, I don't know. I do like the bards in this game, and in D&D in general, one of my favorite classes, So Laurena Kennet is a pre-campaign warlord. She came out in, I think she was in Call to Arms. Idea by James Olver. Very interesting warlord in my opinion. So Laurena Kennet she's a rogue. She's a 5th level rogue. She is evil. Her attacks are kind of lackluster. She's got 2+3s. That makes sense as a bard, as odd as that sounds. It sucks, but it makes sense. 15 armor class, not amazing. +10 skill is, I think, pretty high for a rogue. 3 hit points. Again, she's a bard. She is unique, at least in this printing of it, she's unique. Because back then, you could bring other warlords into play, which was pretty awesome. I miss those days. Really, all she does is other elves in Lorena's rank add +3 to all their die rolls. Actually, are these worded the same? I have both printings here. Other elves in this rank add +3 to their die rolls. Okay, and Laurena can cast or may play level 1 and 2 wizard spells. So, pretty much, Laurena is, in my opinion, one of the reasons why she's so interesting is if you compare her to someone like Captain Ducat, Ducat buffs everybody's range strikes, which is pretty awesome, but he doesn't do anything for melee strikes. You can have someone like, Sargok, or, actually, I guess in Elves, Rustic Umbala, who adds to attack. Laurena adds to all of your dice rolls, which is, it would apply to ranged attacks, melee attacks, feats, saving throws, all those things. The really limiting factor to this is it's only the people that are in the rank she's in. So, as odd as this sounds, I actually like that it is only in her rank, even though it would be objectively better if it just added 3 to all your elves' dice rolls. I mean, that would make her very similar to a Tavis Jape, who's probably better than her in every way, but whatever. So she basically inspires the people she's around, and so she has to, at least in this version of the deck, she's going to be moving back and forth between rank 1 and rank 2 fairly commonly. The ability to cast wizard spells, that is pretty interesting, and we are going to do stuff with that too. So, yeah. One of the things kind of low-key about this deck, when I was going through my decks, one of the things that I liked about this is... Again, we're a casual play group. We're not super serious about winning. We just kind of enjoy ourselves. But low key, this deck is like there's outside of one exception. Okay, I'll give it that. Nothing in this deck is like valuable at all. Like this deck was really cheap to make, which is kind of interesting. And I mean, some of the old heads, you have everything, so that's not an issue. But if you're a new person and you were kind of getting into the game, I mean, this might not be the right place for quality advice. But hey, it is what it is. So again, we're starting Laurena Kennet. In rank 2, we are starting 2 copies of Shadeth Glyn. This is, I think, a pretty solid starting character for a lot of elf decks. He's got marksmanship +5, he's a rogue, and as an order, once per turn, you spend a character in this rank, and Shadeth performs a +3 range strike. So one of the things about Kennet that I like, again, she's not adding to range strike rolls, she's adding to all the dice rolls. So as soon as she moves up into rank 2, Shadeth's marksmanship jumps from +7 to +10. That's a pretty big swing. That turns it into about a 50-50 shot of him making it, which is pretty awesome. And then it makes the range shot +6, which again is pretty nice. So 2 of those, nothing especially out of the ordinary. And then in rank 1, we got 3 copies of Jigorl. This, actually, I'm kind of on the fence about. Kennet, I do want her to go to rank 1 sometimes, but yeah, I don't really want her hanging out there too often, and Jigorl could probably be something else. This might be better off as some guy with stealth or something, I don't know. But I do like shooting into, and I've said this, I think, more times than I can count, I love shooting into rank 2 as my opening action. There's usually something juicy there, and it can tilt people if their Bakbo gets shot as your first action, which is pretty hilarious. So again, we are doing a bunch of range shots, but there is a somewhat of a interesting melee presence in this deck. So we've got 3 copies of Isopa and 3 copies of Volanthe. Dang, these are the really old ones. These are the pre-Saga of the Storm. Well, I don't even know if you can see that. But so Isopa's got 2 attacks. They're only +1s. 13 armor class, which is kind of nice. Really high skill for level 2. Mentalist doesn't matter. And the react once per turn after Risopa rolls a die, re-roll the die. So these attacks are only +1, but having a re-roll is pretty nice. And again, if Kennet's in that rank or if she's doing something else to buff these, those could be +4s. Pretty awesome. And then Volante's got, I mean, this is one of the OG, just keep swinging. She's got 3 attacks, they're only +0s, and she's only got 9 armor class, but she's got 3 swings, so yeah, that could be pretty awesome. And again, if Kennet's buffing those, going from +0 to +3 can be pretty nice. Again, it's worse than Tavis Bloodworms, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. And then we've also got some more shooty guys. We've got 3 copies of Talon. You can toss a card from your hand to do a number of +0 range strikes equal to his level. Again, if Lorena is in his rank, those are +3s, which is awesome. Artheon, which I still like this guy. He's not super good anymore, but I have a soft spot for him. Spend for a +5. What's not to love? 3 copies of the Biting West Wind, because, I mean, that's one of the reasons why I don't think Artheon's very good anymore, but whatever. We're playing both of them, so... So yeah, lots of shooting, and because we have lots of shooting, we are rounding it out with 1 copy of Archer Tower. And just to be super cutesy, we've got 3 copies of Fawn. Fawn is another bard who's basically a worse version of Kennet. Other elves in this rank add +2 to their dice rolls. These do stack together, and they stack with each other. So if in theory you have like all 3 Fawns and Laurena Kennet, what is that? +9? Is that plus? Yeah, it's +9 to all your dice rolls. That's a lot of bonus to your dice rolls, which is pretty cool. So, these could be something else. I like them. This is a fun deck, and so that's the character base. So as you can see there, we've got mostly low-level characters, which is one of the reasons why, outside of the Biting West Wind, nothing in this deck is really valuable. You basically just play dudes, and you have Lorena sing to them and buff them and inspire them, and hopefully it works out. It works out sometimes. So, as far as Lorena's toys, now normally if I'm playing a rogue, if I'm playing someone who's actually I think it's mostly the bards that do this. Rogues that can cast wizard spells. My go-to a lot of the time, if they're going to the front, is Black Steel Dagger with Burning Hands. It's such an awesome combo. Again, a lot of times this just stops, like they can't really swing on you. At least a lot of decks don't want to swing on you because that's a +11 for 2 wounds when they try to hit you. And that is usually enough to deter a lot of like just chaff attacks. We're not going to do that though because I don't want her in the front too terribly often. Like, I don't want her hanging out there. She's really just meant to go there, buff one of the guys who's attacking, and then scuttle back to rank 2. And to help that, we have a copy of Cutlass. Very, very interesting weapon. This came out, this is from a what set is this? I know it's 4th edition. I don't know what set this is. It doesn't say. Okay, whatever. +2 attack, +1 armor class, repost +4, so that gives her a +14 total bonus to it. She's got a good chance of making that. But it has this react. After this road succeeds with the repost check, move backward 1 rank or into another position in this rank. So moving from side to side, I don't know if it's relevant at all in this deck, but the ability to have her repost and then scoot away, I think is pretty cool. And again, it plays into the fact that I kind of want her behaving like Talon Zin, where she kind of shifts around like that. So, and then because 15 armor class is not enough to keep her alive, we do have some defensive stuff. Right now, I'm going with Spider Vestments. Because this gives you stealth and it gives you +2. +2 is not amazing, but the stealth can be nice, especially if someone has like a quality shot they're trying to get at you while you're hiding in rank 2. This could potentially put a stop to that. There's also Armor of Blending and or Cloak of Protection. Armor Blending is probably what I would put on her if I made her stay at the front, because she doesn't get the armor class bonus if she moves around, which is what I'm trying to do, but Stealth and +4 is pretty awesome. And then Cloak of Protection is just +4. It's kind of... These armors are, I think, kind of largely interchangeable in how I play this, but we're doing Spider Vestments for now. And then to move her up and down, we have a Sewer Worm, which I think this was a Shade Lion at one point. But I like the stealth. I got tired of someone freaking shooting me, and so I'm like, you know what, even stealth at +0, I'll take it. And then Cloud Racer and Boots of Speed, which is not really a steed, but it functions very similar to a steed. Cloud Racer, you can move just normally back and forth with it, and you can also toss cards, so if you really need her dancing around, I don't think that's ever happened, but yep, I like it. And then just a couple other toys here. We have a copy of Jewel Spiderweb. Again, you don't want her in rank 1 most of the time, but this can help it if you have to go up there to do something and someone's, I don't know, trying to kill you. This could potentially do 2 wounds, which is pretty awesome. The saves aren't terribly high, but there's 2 of them, so if they're a one-hit quitter, if they're like a Jackals of Morn or something like that, they probably don't make it through this. because they only have +0 skill, and this is a DC 15 and a DC 12. So, and then of course it's a bard, and if we're talking about bards buffing for melee, we have Horn of Battle, +2 to attack and armor class to other characters while in the same rank. It is bard only, but and then okay. In the manner of confessions, I am at the stage in my Warlord evolution, my Warlord growth as a player, or regression as a player. I no longer think riding horse is a bad card. Okay, I think in some of the early episodes I was talking about this card is bad. I don't really think it's bad anymore. I think it's just, is it amazing? No, but it keeps finding its way into so many of my decks. It's classless, it's level 3, and the reason why that can be important is the Volantes can equip it, but the Asopas can equip it too. You could throw it on Kennet if you really needed some movement. You can't move back with it, which kind of sucks, but yeah, I mean, there's desperation, but it is what it is. So, and then we got some shooty spells here. We've got 3 copies of Final Power, 3 copies of Fiery Bolts. You can replace these with a lot of things. You can replace these with a Blast if you just want to play Blast. I think Evoke Crisis is potentially very interesting. Kennet wouldn't buff herself with this, which is unfortunate, and the what do you call them? So this card has been errated, where you can't toss more cards than your level. But the wizards in the deck can cast this too, and it might make more than 2. We'll get to that in a second. But so just some shooty stuff, just some blasty things. Again, Kennet can cast all of these. It's usually better if it's someone in her rank casting them, because it'll get her buff, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, so it's just some spell action there. And then is for some more buffing. At the moment, I'm doing battle tunes. I believe I covered this with Eliza. Battle tunes. It's the buff on this is not very big. It's just an order. It gives the bard using it +2, which isn't super relevant most of the time, although it can be. But if you're a bard, your other characters gain +3 attack while within 1 rank. It is kind of interesting that they don't need to be the same faction. So Kennet's bonus only applies to elves. The fawns only apply to elves, but conceivably, if you had mercs, they could potentially benefit from this. I guess the Archer Tower benefits from this. I don't know what would cause it to make melee strikes, but now, if you're going to play her a little bit more in the front, this is probably better off as Inspiration, because Inspiration would affect herself. But again, I don't really want her there all that often. And Battle Tunes works while she's in rank 2, and it will benefit your people in rank 1, which is pretty nice. Low key, actually, now I'm not saying any of these cards are like really good, but I was actually getting, before Battle Tunes came out, I was playing Giant Growth because it happens at react speed, which can be really nice. Having to spend an order to play Battle Tunes, that can kind of suck sometimes. Giant Growth is giving you that same +3. It's only affecting a single character, but again, it's doing it as a react. So, yeah, very silly, but you know what? Like, there are times where I will have the Battle Tunes and I wish it was a Giant Growth, because I don't have 2 actions. Like, I have to make something happen now, and yeah. I'm not going to defend Giant Growth the way I defend Riding Horse. I think this card is crappy, but it does have a use sometimes. And then rounding it out, 3 copies of Suicidal Charge and 3 copies of Leveled. So if I'm understanding correctly, I don't think you can't play Suicidal Charge, or you can only play 1. I don't remember. I know and one of the reasons why I don't really care about this is, again, we're a casual play group, and how do I say what I'm thinking? I don't mean this in a confrontational or I know better than you do way, because that's not my intention. But from what I understand, Suicidal Charge got removed because of the interactions between it, High Priest Nasrul, and the Samop fighter. Apparently, these people know more than I do. The people who make these decisions. I'm just some stupid guy living in California. I don't know what I'm talking about, but Suicidal Charge was such a prominent, maybe prominent, not the right word. This card was in the 10th anniversary pack because it was that important. And so I'm just like, I'm scratching my head here, like eradicating Makusag Cavalry, whatever that character that you can't start with and play, because it was too good with High Priest Nasrul. How did nobody catch this before they realized it was broken? Like, because Suicidal Charge is not an uncommon card. I mean, well, I don't mean literally rare as far as eternity goes, but this is a card that people play. I mean, Tavis with this, I mean, that's been a staple for, I want to say, quite a good chunk of time. So, removing this card from the format because something new was brought in, that should have seen this. And again, I'm not trying to down to smack talk or anything, but I just, yeah, so, you know what? We still play three. It's fine. No one's worried about Laurena Kennet with freaking Volantes moving, that aren't even starting to play moving forward like that, so whatever. And then the levels are just, leveled on Volante can be really, really interesting. It can also be interesting on the Asopas, and I did, in addition, on the Talons, because that would make Talons shoot 3 times at the cost of a single card, so I think it's interesting. It does also potentially help. Like, I don't save those when I draw them. Like, I don't go, I'm gonna, unless I can make the leveled on one of those characters that I specifically mentioned. Unless I can make that happen quickly, pretty much I'll just play it on like the Jagorals. I'll play it on anything, because one of the problems this deck has is it's really fragile. So that extra hit point and that extra 3 armor class, yeah, it doesn't help a super large amount, but it's better than nothing, because these are elves and they collapse like freaking tissue paper. So now, so that's what I'm doing with her now. Again, it's kind of a hybrid between buffing melee strikes and buffing range strikes. For the longest time, I was actually running her strictly range strikes, and that deck is probably better. Like, objectively speaking, it's probably a better deck. I don't really play her like that anymore, because reality check again, because my playgroup, we're not like sitting down like I need to win this game. It's just like the game is only like half the reason why we're there. It's also just to shoot the shit. But it felt too much like a bad version of Captain Ducat, and I have a Captain Ducat deck, so I just wanted it to be a little bit different. When I was running that other version, elves have quite a few fairly solid higher level shooty characters. Characters like Rack, Mormanion. Mormanion in particular, I think I did pretty well. In fact, this, I could, no, because she's level 4. Mormanion standing in the same rank as Laurena, very similar to the Shaded Glens. You're kind of double dipping that +3 bonus to your rolls, because it's affecting her marksmanship check, which she's going to probably be doing quite a bit, but it also affects her range strike as well, so that, I got some value out of that. Viator, who can, you have to toss your hand, which sucks, but if your opening action is Viator with in the same rank as Laurena, that's a lot of +7s right off the bat, so yeah, that can be pretty awesome. Kind of like Lennox, actually very similar to Lennox. Alessandressa, Tarwin, Sewell, Kamir, these characters all worked. It's just, again, it felt a little bit too much like Ducat, and the other issue was I was having trouble keeping my ranks all together, because most of the characters in the Ducat deck, they're low level. I don't really think I've ever, actually no, that's not true, because I had the Reese one. Most of my Ducat decks, the characters making the rank checks are not high level. They're low level characters, and my rank structure usually wasn't a problem there. A lot of these characters, these are level 4s. I guess Rack is level 3, but keeping my rank structure together, it wasn't working out. It just did not come together the way I needed it to. If I went back and tried, I would probably need to make the deck like almost nothing but movement, either steeds or things like Swift, or I guess some of these level 4s, maybe Relentless. And yeah, not really interested in doing that. There are some other just shooty guys you can play. Kinnel, I think I was playing this guy for a while. I just dropped him because, I mean, reality check. Artheon should probably be this instead, because this is probably more useful. But whatever. And then Elise. This guy, I did actually get some value out of this guy. But ultimately, I think the Shade of the Glens do better. This guy is kind of cool on the first turn. Getting that marksmanship, and again with Kennet, that's a +13 marksmanship, so his odds of making it are fairly high. And a +5, potentially a +10 if it's a high AC target, or the extra wound, or shooting further. Yeah, I did fairly well with him. So, and again, the inverse of what I was just saying, as far as the range strike build, you can actually build her as a frontliner and play more fighting characters. There's the experienced quote unquote Volante. What is it, Volante Theridae? Who's got 3 swings, better stats, and you can run things like Scepter of the Seven, the Thrill of Victory, to get some ready action off of that. You would probably need to change up like your defensive stuff, because again, at that point, if she's staying there, the armor blending is almost certainly better because the stats are better. And then you can do the Black Steel Dagger with Burning Hands combo, which again, I don't do in this because too many times it doesn't really do anything. But I do also, one of the things I think that is pretty nice. So I'm trying to remember the exact series of events. I want to say I got the old copy, the old art of Laurena Kennet, because I really like the old art compared to the new one. Who is this? Michael Cormack. It's not that this art is bad. It's just I think this first one, this feels way more thematic to me. It almost looks like she's maybe not leading the army, but she's standing up with the advisors to the elf army as they're getting ready to go kill those filthy humans. And I got a copy of this right before campaign edition started, and I don't know what I don't know if I left it somewhere. I don't know if somebody like fingered it. It doesn't really matter, but I have not had an older copy of this for like 15 or 20 years or whatever. It's been a very, very long time. So when Epic Edition came out, and this new one, this is what I've been pretty much stuck with since then. And again, I just like this old art more. It's pretty awesome. So really, really happy to have this back. I think Alex Egbert either traded or sold me this. So pretty awesome. Very nice to get this back on the table. I haven't played this deck in forever, and I haven't played it with this version of the card yet, but I'm excited to do that. So yeah, that's Laurena Kennet right there. Another bard. I do also like that the Eliza deck and the Railer deck. Again, those are all bards, but all of these feel like they play very, very differently from one another, which is kind of nice. Some of the I think the worst defender is both paladins and barbarians. Maybe it's just because they're all fighters, but anytime I build like a barbarian deck, it feels like every other barbarian deck, and every time I build a paladin deck, for the most part, unless it's I Am Unsullied, it all feels the same. Like, I don't know why, but yeah, I'm waffling now. Thanks for checking this out, guys. Season 2, I ended Season 1 of Dusting Off with that series on Legend of the Five Rings on that Crane set. I'm hoping to do more L5R stuff. I'm kind of still waiting on it right now. But potentially also, if I can get my stuff all set up, I kind of want to explore a couple other games too. Some more Legend of the Five Rings, some more Warlord, but yep, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for checking this out. God bless you, and I will catch you in the next video.